Have you ever noticed your partner acting off, but you're not quite sure why? The chances are they're probably stressed. So by the end of this video, you're going to be able to identify your own stress signs and be able to communicate that clearly with your partner.
Stress often shows up in subtle ways which are unique to each person. For example, I know Mark's stressed when I'm finding his socks lying all over the house because he'll take them off when he gets overstimulated and our dog just carries them round.
Whereas for Alex, I recognise that if she's not getting back in touch with her friends or family members or other people who are contacting her, and her WhatsApp or her email inboxes are all getting fuller, there's a good chance that she's probably stressed too. So the chances are you probably know when you're getting stressed or when you feel stressed. But what we're hoping to do by the end of this video is show you all those little signs that you might not be aware of that are happening before that. So maybe you started getting stressed 2 or 3 days before, or maybe even 2 or 3 weeks before. We'll have these subtle little displays, these little signposts that we exhibit that if we can catch early, it stops us getting stressed, and it also can stop big arguments then within the relationship.
Yeah. We've all got these signs that show that we're feeling internal pressure, often like you said, before we even notice it. And actually, if we can get ahead of that and catch those things, it prevents any miscommunications or blame being placed where actually someone's just doing their own thing, getting stressed and in their own minds.
That's important, isn't it? This is about awareness, not blame. So we're trying to help you identify this yourself. So if you can clearly communicate this with your partner, look, this is what happens when I'm stressed. These are some of the things that let you know that I might be getting stressed. As partners, you can be aware of that. And it's not your partner's job to fix this, but sometimes a second pair of eyes helps kind of spot early signs. So we'd like to introduce you to this exercise. There's a link below if you want to click on it and download this, or you can just draw this out. It's quite a simple design. So you'll see on here we've got the stress signpost. And all this is like we've talked about, we're trying to identify those small little nuances, those little details that tell us when we're feeling stressed. If we can give this as a visual representation to someone, I've done this, I've given this to Alex, these are the things that if you notice and you see these things, there's a good chance I'm getting stressed. Often kind of some of the bigger arguments start from people being stressed, and let's face it, life is busy. Like a modern life is really busy. There's children, there's dogs, there's lots of things in the mix. So we're going to run through and demonstrate this as a bit of an exercise. Alex is going to be the guinea pig for today. You're going to be the partner who's working through it, and you'll be working through as a model to demonstrate some of the things that maybe make her stressed, or certainly in this example anyway. Perfect. So Alex, when you think about when you're getting stressed, what are some of the obvious signs that would tell you that life's getting a bit much at the moment and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed? What are some of the physical things or the things that you observe about yourself? And I just want you to put them in here. This is like one of those signposts that's down at John O'Groats or something like that, or Land's End, and directing in Sydney 5,000 miles away, whatever the distance is. But it's a clear signpost to what's happening. So for you, what are some of these things?
Well, I guess I can cheat because you said one earlier,
Did.
so my messages build up.
I think this is a really common one for a lot of people. I know me personally as well, any kind of WhatsApp or emails or things like that start to build up. You struggle perhaps with bandwidth to want to get back in touch with people. It feels like another admin job you've got to do. So for a lot of people, that's a really common one.
A little bit more specific to me is I'll often drive home from work with music on, and if I've had a tough day or I'm feeling stressed, I will drive home with no music on, and that's always a bit of a sign.
That's interesting. So no music for you would indicate, oh, there might be something going on here. You want quiet. I think that's an important one to think of. If I reflect on kind of mine, for me, I listen to a lot of music, but my music choices will change depending on kind of where I'm at. And that almost indicates as well kind of, oh, hang on, what? If I check in with myself, how am I feeling? What's going on? Perfect. Okay, what else?
Just while we're on music, for some people, actually, when they start listening to music is when they're getting stressed and they want something out of their heads.
This is going to be unique to you, and your partner's isn't necessarily going to be the same, but being able to be really clear about what works for you helps be able to communicate that then.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else? You just perhaps go through it, Alex. You think about your different stress signposts. What comes up for you? And look, maybe if it's okay and you feel comfortable with it, maybe I can add some for you that maybe I've noticed.
That'd be handy.
Oh, perfect. There isn't necessarily specific ones that I was thinking about right now.
I was pausing, waiting for you.
No.
Cool.
So spending money, I think this is an interesting one. This again is quite a common one for people wanting to perhaps access some dopamine in some way. And I think we could maybe build out that category depending on how this resonates for you if you're watching this. It's any perhaps habit that you're doing maybe in a bit more in excess, because you're looking for that feel-good factor. And I think we all look for that. We're all human beings. We all want to feel good. And at times of stress, you want to get some extra dopamine and various different things. So your next one is sugar. That's another good example of it. A lot of people turn to food. I'm guilty of that. I always know if I generally don't kind of eat too many sugary things, but if I'm reaching for a bag of Haribo, something quite majorly wrong, and I may need to just check myself and see what's going on.
And I think particularly those small habits you build for your health, because I guess then the other thing I'm thinking is I'm much less motivated to go to the gym or get outside, walk the dogs, all the things that normally day to day don't feel like a chore suddenly start to feel very difficult.
So noticing your motivation level. And again, these are all about early things. The earlier we can catch these things, that's the point of this exercise, the less problems we're going to have afterwards, right? This noticing these things doesn't fix it per se, and we're not saying don't do these things, but what are your stress signposts and what kind of lets you know, oh, I'm stressed?
So they're the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Is there anything on there that I haven't written that you think is really obvious when I'm stressed? Because I guess this is something important as well. Your partner, your friends, your parents, whoever's around you will notice when you're stressed, and they might not pick up on the things that you pick up on.
Well, I think this is an important one, and this isn't necessarily explicitly related to you, Alex. I think this could be a general one, but a loss in libido. I think we're talking about relationships here, and often if people are feeling stressed, they might not want to have sex, or maybe they want to have more sex. So I think libido, connection, all comes into that kind of stress.
Yeah, intimacy, having the bandwidth for intimacy.
Maybe as partners we pull away. There'll be various different things. Again, this stress signpost is going to be unique to you. The point of this exercise is to stop, take a step back, and just recognise what's going on for me, what happens. I've noticed, Alex, you've written there wanting more time alone, and I think, again, that's another really common one in terms of the social interactions. Often people go either way. They want more time alone, or they want to lean into being around people more, because it's a way of masking whatever is going on. So wanting more time alone, that isolation, that leans into some of the other things we were talking around, intimacy and connection.
Ooh.
I think that's a really good one, isn't it? Is a change in mood. So you've written irritable there, and I think this change in mood, it's probably one of the ones often people, when we talk about stress, people connect with straight away, is just feeling a bit pissed off.
Yeah, snappy.
Snappy, and that's okay. There's no judgment on any of these, but it is important to kind of recognise it. So a shifted mood, often when people are feeling stressed.
And although this might be one of the more obvious signs, actually as a partner, I know if Mark's getting snappy or irritable, I quite often ramp up too. I'm going, well, who does he think he's talking to like that? And actually, if you can pause in that moment and go, I wonder what's going on, that's one of his stress signposts. That's a really good opportunity to invite connection in rather than play the misconception game.
And that's not an opportunity to give excuses for me to be pissed off or annoyed, but it is to recognise it and to see me, and perhaps in that moment Alex is able to step back and go, oh, hang on, what's going on? Is everything okay? That's a bit maybe out of character. I hope that's out of character. So it just recognises and regrounds it back in, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm feeling a bit stressed, and then we can open the whole conversation. So we're trying to get ahead of it.
Allows, aids communication while in those stressful moments where perhaps you are more irritable or you want more time alone or you kind of just busy in your head, not managing your time right, it would be really easy to think, oh, where are you? What are you doing? What's going on? And if you know those things in advance, it allows you to be more compassionate to your partner as well.
Often to be empathetic towards our partners or to anyone, we need to know what's going on with them. If we don't know, we're in the dark, it's really hard to be empathetic because we don't understand what's happening. So the stress signposts help communicate a part of that.
While also allowing you to have some ownership, some agency over this as well. Like we've said, the ways that people show stress subtly are so different that you can think in your mind, why are they not noticing that I'm stressed? Why aren't they seeing that I'm not coping? And actually, me having no music on in the car when I'm stressful might be really normal for someone else. They might just not know that that's a sign.
What about the more nuanced things? We've given some sort of general things. Is there anything that you feel is really specific that you feel comfortable kind of sharing and that you recognise is one of your stress signposts?
Actually, yeah, a lot of people, I think, talk about biting their fingernails, but I actually would just pick the skin all around my fingernails, and you can always tell, can't you, if I'm having a rough week at work or things have been, I don't know, busy and stressful and we've not had an opportunity to touch base. All around my fingers get bitten down and scraggly.
That's a really good one. We're really trying to go deeper with these things. There'll be a surface level of some of these obvious ones that you think about. The key to this exercise is really try and go deeper. What are some of the things that you notice? So Alex, you've put biting fingernails. I know for me, I sometimes can stress pick. I don't even know that I'm doing it. I'm just maybe just scratching mark or a cut or something like that. Can often make it worse. We do these things, these reactions, we don't know we're doing. It's all about the little subtle things, the subconscious things, trying to make them conscious. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Oh, I am doing that thing.
I've found lots of men that I've worked with pick their beards. That'll be kind of a signpost that perhaps they don't notice they're doing, again, completely unconscious. Once you pick up on it and communicate that with your partner or the people around you, then they can have a bit of an insight into how you are as well.
This exercise should be hard. You might fly through this, and if you go through it really quickly, I'd ask you to do this exercise again, because it's about those subtle details that you're trying to find, things that you might not always in the moment know that would indicate that you're stressed. We've had a lot of time off camera and in between these edits just talking about ours anyway. We both have done this exercise as part of our own relationship to recognise and for our own kind of self-progression. Because I think it's really important to recognise, how do I know when I'm stressed? Because that indicates how I can maybe do something about it. If we can't do something, if we've got no awareness of it, it doesn't make sense, right? So we have to have the awareness. That's what this exercise is all about. So go really deep with this if you can. You should be sat there struggling to try and think of these things. That's a really good sign, because that means you're thinking about it. And if you're not sure, discuss with your partner as well. Often Alex can point things out to me and say, have you noticed you do these things? And I'm like, no, never saw that. That's the point of it. That's the point of these signposts, right? And I've done the same for her.
And if you're struggling, think about what life looks like when you're not stressed. One of the things that's just popped into my head is I often have a candle on in the living room in the evening, that kind of thing. And actually, if I'm stressed, I'm not thinking about those things. And that's perhaps a less obvious signpost for me. It's something I've had to really trawl through and notice. But if you think about those things that you do when you're feeling on top of the world, great, normal life, then you can notice what things go missing when you're stressed as well.
I think that's a really good point, isn't it? That, again, it's about the awareness, seeing these things. And what do you do differently? One of my things I know is my training at the gym will change if I'm stressed. I'll train harder, or I'll push myself further. So noticing these things is really important.
Cool. I'll just write the candles on. The candles.
4 candles. Well, there you are, 4 candles.
I think one that applies for both of us is perhaps messiness, and I don't think either of us would want to probably admit that. But I know me, certainly, if I maybe get a takeout coffee or something, I'm driving, I might just leave the coffee cup in the car and forget about it and walk off, where normally I wouldn't. I'd just stick it straight in the bin. Noticing behaviours that previously wouldn't have happened and are now starting to happen. These are all little small signs of, oh, maybe I'm a bit stressed.
Yeah.
I think another really common one that often kind of clients tell me about, and I can relate to this as well, I don't know whether you can, Alex, but that's time management. And that's that's the use of time. Often for me personally, if I'm stressed, I don't prioritise the things that actually make me feel better. I start focusing on all the other things that I need to do, and therefore then get more stressed. It sort of doubles down and doubles down. And for you watching this, or for you, Alex, that might look different, but in terms of that time management, how we're utilising time and our relationship with time, I think, can change when we're stressed.
Yeah, one of the things I notice, particularly when I'm stressed, is I'll start to pick up doing little jobs around the house that just don't need doing. Reorganising something, washing things that don't need to be washed. I always try and make myself more stressed to manage the chaos and the busyness.
So as you can see from this list, this is unique to Alex, and obviously I've added some of my observations about her, or things that we both perhaps do on this signpost. But this will look different for you, and it also might look different for your partner. But we'd really invite you to both sit down and do this together. Have a chat through these different kind of signposts. What do you notice about each other? It can be really interesting. Not only are you learning more about each other as partners, but you're learning stuff about yourself and how to then manage that. And that brings us quite nicely onto the next bit, that once you've done this signpost, once you've worked out, right, I know I'm stressed now, these are the things that I do when I'm feeling stressed, what do you do about it? Well, you can click on this video above here, and that will help you, that will help you identify what can you do about it.
So grab our download. Grab our download.
Grab our download.
So grab our download and try it for yourself. And if you found this video helpful, please like,
Subscribe,
and comment.
and we'll see you again on the next video.